Alongside Adam Lauridsen, I'm Ravi Kapur after Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and the Bucks showed up big time, winning in a game they actually had to win, 120-100. They were down 2-0, but they showed up like the Eastern Conference champions they are. Adam, what was the difference tonight?
I think the difference was the Bucks supporting cast. Giannis had another incredible game, 41 points, I believe, played in much the same dominant fashion that he did in Game 2. The difference is he got some help this time. Chris Middleton shot better. Drew Holiday shot better. The offense in general, I think, was more fluid, producing easier looks. And the defense really seemed to cause the Suns shooters some problems tonight. So that combination allowed the Suns to get some momentum. They had the energy of their home court. They cracked open a lead, and they never gave it up. It was a must-win for them. If they didn't win tonight, it was going to be likely a 4 or 5 game series total. But we're back in a situation where they can generate some momentum and feel confident.
Oh, it was the first game in Milwaukee, the first NBA Finals game since the 70s. And so obviously the crowd was energized. And you could imagine a home game like that. The role players play well. But let's talk about Giannis. 41 points. Here's a guy, when he had that injury in the Eastern Conference Finals, I thought he was going to be out for a couple weeks at least, if not for the season. But back-to-back 40-point performances. This is a guy who is not an outside shooter, but inside the paint, he's so dominant. I mean, he might be the most dominant paint player we've seen since Shaq.
He's playing to his strengths right now. He's going inside. He's overpowering the Suns. He's running to the rim and getting the ball in a position where he can use his size, quickness, and strength to just overwhelm guys. It's great to see, and Shaq is the parallel. He has a different body type. It's a different era in the NBA, but it's the same type of dominance. As for his injury, I'm sure the doctors out there can explain what happened, but it's pretty mind-blowing what we saw his knee do on the court just 2 weeks ago, the way he crumpled, the difficulty we thought he was going to have coming out of that. And he looks like nothing ever happened to him right now. It's pretty incredible. He's a little winded, but he's still powering through. Really just a remarkable performance by somebody who has been an MVP, who has been arguably the best player in the NBA. He certainly looked like it tonight.
Let's talk about Drew Holiday for a moment, because I think he's such a pivotal guy. I mean, he was the reason that a lot of folks forecasted the Bucks to make this move, because he's a two-way player. And if he gives them anything offensively, I mean, look out. He was tremendous tonight. And I think the fact that he's been aggressive the last few games has made a big difference for the Bucks.
His offense in Game 2, he had a lot of easy looks that just didn't go down. People have difficult games like that. Clearly, he was connecting better in Game 3. But his defense the last 2 games, I think, deserves special credit. They've put him on Chris Paul. They've assigned him to really frustrate Paul from the moment he crosses the half-court line, to make it difficult for him to get into those mid-range looks where he really thrives. And Holiday's done a terrific job of that. Paul was not a major factor tonight. He had some nice passes he's creating for other people, but it wasn't the type of dominant offensive performance when the Suns have played their best. And forcing Paul into spots where he's uncomfortable has to be part of the way the Bucks could win this series.
Well, speaking of the Suns, I mean, obviously Paul has led this squad, but Devin Booker, his emergence is the reason they're here in the finals. And I've never seen this before. And I don't know if you can recall a time where you have a superstar of his nature in a game where they potentially could still make a run in the fourth quarter. They certainly made a run in the third quarter, but he sat out the fourth quarter. It was, the majority of it. I've never seen anything quite like it. Was there any explanation that you could think of other than just added motivation for Game 4 to sit out Booker?
There's the old saying that it's not a series until the visiting team wins a game. And I think that from the Suns' perspective, they may have just decided that the Bucks were going to hold serve tonight. They were going to win the game that they needed to win. So both physically, but also mentally, to not tax Booker, to give him a little break. He puts a tremendous amount of pressure on himself to shoot the team and to really force the team through his aggressiveness back into these games. That takes a lot of energy. If it was going to be a long shot for them to come back tonight, if they didn't really need the game, they could give him a break, hopefully come back from the Suns' perspective, take Game 4, and make this a nearly insurmountable lead as they go back to Phoenix.
Well, Booker only had 10 points tonight, and the Suns are just not going to win a game of this magnitude if he's only producing 10 points. So in light of the fact that the Bucks showed up in a major way, they looked dominant, and the Suns looked a little bit flat. I mean, Game 4, I imagine the Suns will have they'll be ready for that one. You like the Suns this entire time. Do you think they're going to be able to steal Game 4, or this is going to be perhaps going a full 7?
I think Game 4 may end up being the best game of the series. I think the Bucks know that they need to win. They have some momentum, but I think the Suns will probably feel like they took the best punch from Milwaukee tonight. They'll come back with aggressiveness, feeling like they can steal one and steal the direction of the series. I think the Suns still win this, whether it's going to be in 5, 6, 7 games. We'll find out, but I would expect a very competitive game, hopefully on Wednesday.
Well, certainly, if the role players play the way tonight, the Bucks have a heck of a shot to hold serve through 4 games. But we'll see, because this is going to be a real wrinkle in what happens moving forward, because they're actually getting a couple days off, and maybe that was part of the thinking. Typically, they only have one night off in between home games, so they're actually getting 2 full days of rest, and then the game will be on Wednesday. So I'm fascinated to see if the Suns need that time to just relax a little bit, though they did have a lot of time off between series. And certainly the Bucks, they need to win that one if this series is going to go potentially the full 7. So I'm fascinated to see what happens, but I'm glad we actually have a series, because it didn't look too good in Phoenix for sure.
Yeah, Phoenix looked like they were dominant on their home court. That's what you would expect from a championship team. Now the Bucks have come back and done the same on their home court. We'll see if they can do it in Game 4. That may be a deciding factor in terms of which direction this goes.
For Adam Lauridsen, I'm Ravi Kapur. We'll see you after Game 4.